salinization problems. After this, we have to solve this problem. So we create the problem to solve it.
Yeah, I think that this is not only this area. We have a lot of. We have already Northeast Thailand. They also have the very accumulation of the salt, and also we did some Syria, the same situation. Several countries, same problems.
So this is a good thing that we can cooperate, collaborate between countries like Japan, United States, and other Western countries. Because before recently, we did not have this opportunity.
Right.
You know, one of the feature of the Soviet Union was that it was a closed society. And I just recently participated, I came from Turkey and Germany. In Turkey, it was a wheat conference. This was World Wheat Conference.
I see.
It's once in 5 years. So I was also elected to steering committee of this wheat conference. So we there were 15 or 16 scientists and representing this Central Asia.
I see.
And one from Russia, Dr. Mereshko. So that was a very good organized conference, and about 60 scientists, researchers from the CIS countries. Not CIS, but former Soviet Union countries. This also including Baltic area and Moldova. So they were invited and sponsored for participation. Otherwise, nobody from this part of the world, maybe one person from Russia could afford to travel to Turkey. But that was very good. And after this, I went to Leipzig. Leipzig, Germany. There was a plant genetic resources, technical conference on plant genetic resources. And by the way, we were not far from Japan. Japanese delegation. I mean that in accordance to alphabet, because it was Japan, and it was Jordan. And then Kazakhstan. And it was Kenya, and then Korea.
So you're just middle.
Middle between Japan and Korea.
So many Japanese scientists joined the wheat conference.
To wheat conference, I don't know how many. And I remember that the delegation for this plant genetic resources conference was 4 or 5.
I see.
But they were aware. I talked to them. I don't remember the names. But when I talked to them, they said, we're aware that one scientist is going to go to Almaty and about Dr. Sata. But they didn't know his name. But just said that we heard about this.
The one institute, it's Agrobiological Resources Institute. They are in charge of the genetic resources materials. So I think somebody from that institute.
So these two conferences were very different. The wheat conference, that was pure research and development, you know, papers and posters, so discussions only concerning this wheat. Development of new varieties, the methods, biotechnology, genetics, and also agronomy part. But the Leipzig conference, that was more political. More political.
Genetic resources.
Well, they were not talking about the genetics, but talking about the biodiversity and how to maintain it, how to conserve it. So that was, and I was first time participating in such conference, and I was amazed that we spent about 2 days congratulating the chairman in Germany for invitation, gratitude, and then congratulations to chairman. But then finally, when we came to the principal point, there's approval of Leipzig Declaration. So we had to work on night. There was night session because there was no time. And see that the positions of some countries, donor countries, especially United States, was 1, And then they say the G77.
Yeah.
So this group, they were all against it.
Yeah. Yeah, genetic resources, very, very complicated issues.
Yes.
So some of the developing countries, Southeast Asian countries,
Yes.
the African countries, they try to really insist their resources.
Yes.
And the advanced countries, the EU or United States, the European countries, they try to push them to open their door.
Yes.
So that is very, very,
Then there was the issue of farmers' rights.
yes, that
Is
is
also very contradictory.
right.
So majority, well, they were supporting in favor of the farmers' rights, this resolution. And United States was against. Maybe some other countries like
Yeah.
Australia and
Japan also.
no, Japan did not speak in this case. They kept silent. But they allowed United States so that everybody would angry with United States. So United States spokesman was speaking United States, and then they say, well, we cannot go further. So this is what we're allowed to say. And then the representative of India, Malaysia, they were spokesmen for this developing countries. So they said, we also cannot move from here.
Yeah.
So it took 2 nights to come to some agreement. So that was more political. And because I was first time, I could not understand at the beginning what was the point. But I understand that the donors and this, like North and South, they also were using these terms. North should pay to South because they took our resources, they used it for prosperity of these countries. Now you have to give something to share with you.
Yes, that's one.
It's very much political.
Plant and microorganisms, everything. Yeah, there are many political things, agriculture, international agriculture. I'm familiar with the CGIAR organization.
Yes, this is consultant
Yeah,
group
contact group.
of research
Yes,
organizations.
I was in Frankfurt yesterday, and I met Dr. Rampe. He's a good friend of mine, and he used to be the director general of the International Rice Research Institute. He quit of Europe. And he's doing some research survey of the particular Central Asian countries.
Yes.
Yes, because how the CGIAR met with this area.
Yes.
And I'm also the member of the technical assistant technology advising committee of the CGIAR, and I talked with Dr. Rampe yesterday, and he's hoping to hold some meeting to invite a representative people from
Yes.
Central Asia sometime this autumn.
Yes, I remember that I'm also a member of continuing committee of crop science Congress, which was held last time in the United States, and this year in November will be in New Delhi, India. So then somebody from this, I don't remember these names, from this International Rice Research Institution, he sent me a letter. I was working up in the north, asking assistance to establish cooperation with the rice research institutions in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. So I did this, and 2 scientists, one from this, it's not today Rice Research Institute, but they're more involved in rice in Kızılorda, and one from Uzbekistan. They traveled to Philippines, and then but I know that they're interested in International Rice Research Institute.
Yeah, I think so. Genetic resources.
Yes, exchange and then ecological tests of all this. Yes, this is very useful, I think, for our countries.
I think both
But,
sides.
Perhaps our countries, these countries of the former Soviet Union, not so much prepared for this cooperation, because they didn't have any experience most of the research people don't speak English. It's also one of the constraints. You know. So that, but gradually, you know, now we're having more younger scientists who can manage in English. But you know, that generally speaking, most of our people they can read English. They can read and understand the consultant dictionary. But because before recently there was no use of it, so nobody was thinking very much about the importance of this. They could learn how to read it, how to translate it, and that was all. Just to pass exams, and after this, forget it.
Yeah, I think that's the same situation we have. Recently, young people start to talk, but before that, almost everybody can read, understand, but not speak. They didn't have much chance to talk.
Yeah, and for our folks, it's easier, I think, than for Japanese people, because on the base of the Russian language, Russian is closer to this German or English structure of the language, but Kazakh is different. On the base of the Kazakh language, it's very difficult to study English. But if you know Russian, then it's much easier. The order of words and the grammar.
Kazakh Japanese is not close.
Yeah, Kazakh Japan, I think so. So do you still have the very strong connection with the Russian Academy of Agricultural Sciences?
Not so strong,
I see.
because you understand that in the Soviet Union we were always reporting. So, for example, I was a director of one of the research institutes for grain in the north. So we were reporting straight to Moscow. So I was flying maybe once in a month. Every month to Moscow, reporting about the new projects and asking for financing, then for reporting, approval, and everything. So that was then participating in the sessions, because we had the sessions of this Academy of Russian. It wasn't Russian, it was all union. So we all got together to Moscow, 2-3 sessions in a year, and final annual session. But today, maybe 1-2 visits on behalf of the academy, maybe the president or one of his deputies. Then you have to realize our situation with the budget also, that it's very costly for us to travel to Moscow and back.
In 1990, I was in the Soviet Union's Agricultural Academy of Science. I met Romanenko and Dr. Pushkos. He's the vice president. He's the
Economist.
Yes. And then we did the discussion, and then now we signed between Ministry of Agriculture of Japan and the Russian Academy of Science to research collaboration. And my successor did sign for them.
It's interesting that the Leipzig conference, it gave us opportunity to get together from the Soviet Union. So we didn't have chance to meet somewhere in Russia or in other parts of the Soviet Union, but we met in Leipzig.
Yes.
And then we had a discussion with the director of this plant production institute, Vavilov Institute. Yes, director, and we agreed to cooperate in conservation of the seeds of the plants, because today we do not have in Kazakhstan any such storages. And Vavilov Institute also didn't have it. So we had also to receive this and conservation. But today they have this, and the director said, это местный тот зеленый, кто-то здесь внутри корпуса. So we agreed that this will be done for mutual benefits, free of charge. So this Vavilov Institute is providing storages to store our seeds in the collection. But we will also share with the seeds. for their purposes. Then also we agreed that they will be sending us free also this new collections, and we will plant it here and then give results
Yeah,
about the
okay,
test.
so the multi-site